Hello, my name is Emma Bucey and I'm a senior in the Commonwealth Honors College here at UMass Amherst studying biomedical engineering. In this video, I'll be presenting to you my senior thesis, which is titled Impacts of the COVID-19 Pandemic on Occupational Wellbeing in Engineering Education. To introduce my research and provide some background, engineering curricula are an essential component of collegiate education. An engineering curriculum is designed to reinforce engineering principles immersed with education following a particular specialty. These specialties include, but are not limited to, mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, industrial engineering, and so on and so forth. The 2020 COVID-19 pandemic has had several adverse effects on today's youth. These impacts can be seen in the education that was offered for students navigating college during these unprecedented times. The pandemic has impacted several areas of well-being for college students worldwide. In this study, I'll be focusing on occupational well-being in engineering. To further illustrate my research, I'll be focusing mainly on engineering fields. I've broken it down into 3 categories, which are collaboration skills and group work, professional development, and navigating challenging STEM work courses that were only offered online. Moving on to critical thinkers, there were 3 major frameworks that shaped my research. Lori Schreiner's Thriving in College describes what it means to be successful at a university. This success is not quantifiable through grades, but rather at how engaged students are in their studies, how willing they are to invest in effort into their schoolwork, and how capable they are at forming healthy connections with their peers in the environment that surrounds them. She uses 5 components to comprise a thriving quotient that she uses to evaluate student success. However, for the sake of my research, a sense of community is the one that's most important. Alexander Aston's What Matters in College describes the results from a longitudinal study conducted from 1985 to 1989 on college students. One major takeaway from this study is the importance of a peer group. Aston also describes how an environment can shape student success and development over the course of their college experience. Terrell Strayhorn's College Student Sense of Belonging, a key to educational success for all students, uses Maslow's hierarchy to define a sense of belonging as a basic human need. The desire to belong drives human behavior, especially in terms of forming one's identity at college. Therefore, a sense of belonging is vitally important to student success. These 3 frameworks contribute to and shape a successful and meaningful collegiate experience for students. Moving on to my lit review, I've learned that there is an essential need for in-person coursework and lab work for engineering students. During such coursework, the establishment of a peer group can happen early on, and students can begin to foster the collaboration skills that are going to become important down the line. In terms of moving down the line, there is a vital importance of the Senior Design Capstone Project. This project is a year-long team-based project that models industry expectations pertaining to product development, working with a design team, and responding to a real client and catering to their needs. There have also been several implications and challenges posed by the online structure of learning that was introduced at the onset of the pandemic. The abnormal standards and expectations that were introduced during remote coursework have disrupted students' learning experiences. Students have also experienced difficulty retaining and engaging in online coursework, which has led to several deficits in their education down the line. From my literature review, I have established 2 key takeaways, which are the lack of hands-on experience creates a sense of insecurity and distress in students pertaining to skills necessary to build a career in a particular engineering field, and an abnormal college experience brings into question a student's perception of their engineering identity. Using these takeaways, I constructed my research question, which is, how has the COVID-19 pandemic affected engineering students' perception of occupational well-being? To study this question, my main form of research has been interviews. I have been conducting semi-structured interviews with senior engineering students here at UMass. The in-depth responses that I have gained from these interviews helps to improve the understanding of student perspectives of navigating college life during these unprecedented times, particularly pertaining to engineering education. There is also intrinsic motivation behind this research question based on its background. Because the COVID-19 pandemic is a very, very recent event in global history, dating back to only March of 2020, it is still being studied. So the in-depth discussions that are arising from these interviews provide a more comprehensive data set to understand the research question. To achieve my goal of assessing student perceptions of occupational well-being, I've been asking questions such as, can you briefly describe what your curriculum looked like during the year spent online? What was the transition back to in-person for your engineering coursework like? And as you approach graduation, how are you feeling about your preparation to enter the industry? From my interviews, some initial findings are starting to emerge. When students were questioned about their attitudes towards the year they spent online, they articulated that they felt stressed and isolated, as well as very ill-prepared for what was to come. They felt as though they did not master their technical coursework and that their social interactions were impaired. They also felt as though several campus resources that they would have used if they were in person had been wasted during this time spent online. When discussing their attitudes towards returning to campus, students articulated that they felt very insecure and overwhelmed, as well as feeling frustrated and out of place. Students also described a sense of academic discomfort, and they talked about how they felt like they were a freshman all over again. Lastly, when questioned about their feelings about entering the engineering industry, students stated that they felt very unprepared, insecure, and lost, as well as stressed. Students articulated that this stemmed from a lack of hands-on skills that they feel that they do not have, as well as the lack of experience that they also feel as though they do not have, particularly relating to internships. To conclude, as I continue to analyze my interview data, I hope to find some more common themes emerge from the research, which will help me to create a more comprehensive conclusion. Thank you for watching.